My husband had a first love that he couldn't have. After being married to him for 10 years, I thought he had already given up on her. However, in the thick, billowing smoke of a fire, he didn't hesitate to abandon me and our daughter and chose to save his first love's child first. Having a chance to start over, when I saw him bowing and fawning over me because of an investment in the company, I knew that the opportunity for revenge had come. The thick black smoke trapped me and my daughter in the bedroom, and death was slowly approaching us. Mom, I woke up with a start. The scorching temperature around me suddenly disappeared, and in front of me was my daughter with a sweet smile, looking at me with her big round eyes. Tears blurred my eyes. I hugged my daughter tightly in my arms and burst into tears. Mom, what's wrong? Did you have a nightmare? My 5-year-old daughter was at a loss when she saw this and gently patted my back with her hand. I was reborn. In my previous life, my daughter and I were taking a nap at home. The child of the neighbor next door set the curtain on fire by using an open flame indoors. The fire spread and our family was also affected. By the time I realized what was happening, the bedroom was filled with flames. Living on the 22nd floor, I had nowhere to hide. And my husband, Sean, in order to make the firefighters save his first love Luna's child first, actually lied that there was no one at home, leaving my daughter and me to be burned to death in the fire. Thinking of this, I couldn't help hugging my daughter in my arms even tighter, for fear that she would leave me in the next second. Mom, it hurts. It wasn't until my daughter's voice rang out that I came back to my senses and let her go. I'm back. There was the sound of the door opening outside. My daughter broke free from my arms and rushed out in a hurry. Daddy. It was my husband, Sean. When he was in college, he was a famous and influential figure on campus. He was handsome, smart, and started his own business at a young age. He earned his first pot of gold in his junior year. It was precisely because of these that I fell in love with him at first sight and pursued him vigorously. I was the daughter of the Jade family in the city. Since childhood, there was nothing I couldn't get. Therefore, in my senior year, when I heard that there was a problem with the capital chain of his company, I knew that this was my chance to win him over. I gave him 1 million yuan to help him solve the company's difficulties. He was so grateful to me that he almost knelt down on the spot. After that day, he agreed to be my boyfriend. I had always known that he had a woman hidden in his heart, Luna. She was his first love. It was said that they broke up because Luna thought he wasn't ambitious enough. After they broke up, Luna went abroad. I originally thought that they would never have any contact again. However, in the 7th year of our marriage, Luna showed up with a little boy across from my house and became my neighbor. And it was that little boy that led to my daughter and me being buried in the fire. Didn't you say you were going to get your nails done with Shirley today? Why didn't you go? I looked at him holding our daughter and standing outside the bedroom door, and all I could think of was the look on his face when he abandoned us. I forced myself to suppress my discomfort. I'll leave in a while. Zoe will go with me later. I took Zoe from his arms and went to the dressing room. Zoe, Mom will take you out for dinner today. What would you like to eat? I want a hamburger. Okay, Mom will allow you to have one today. Sean behind me fixed his eyes tightly on me. He opened his mouth but hesitated to speak. When I woke up, I glanced at the calendar on the bedside table. Today was 3 months before the fire happened. It happened to be the time when Sean needed my help. Is there anything else? Seeing that he couldn't bring himself to speak, I decided to give him a push. The company's funds have encountered some problems recently. Could you? His voice grew quieter and quieter, and he didn't dare to look me in the eye because of his guilty conscience. Could you lend me some money? I sneered, with a somewhat sarcastic tone. Since we got married, Sean had never seen me like this. On ordinary days, as long as he showed a bit of weakness, I would satisfy whatever he wanted. But today, what I said seemed to slap him in the face and magnified his inferiority complex infinitely. Whether you lend it or not is up to you. I don't have to ask you. His tone was sharp and his face darkened as if I had touched a sore spot. I have a business engagement tonight. I'm leaving. After saying that, He picked up the suit jacket on the sofa and left. Mom, what's wrong with Dad? Dad is busy. Mom will take you to eat something delicious tonight. I pinched her face to change the topic. Children are easy to coax. After hearing about food, she didn't ask about other things anymore. Godmother. When Zoe saw Shirley, she immediately rushed over. Here you are. It's harder to see you than to climb to the sky since you got married. Miss Jade, the daughter of a wealthy family, became a housewife. Aren't you afraid of being laughed at by others when people hear about it? Shirley pursed her lips, sounding unhappy. I used to love Sean so much. He said he would support me and asked me to quit my job and have fun at home. So I did as he wished without hesitation, gave birth to a child for him and took care of his mother, so that I had less contact with my old friends. It won't be like this in the future. This kind of life will end soon. Because Zoe was there, I couldn't say it explicitly and just mentioned it casually. Shirley was my best friend since childhood. She gave me a thumbs up. You're so determined. If there's anything, you must tell me. Don't keep it to yourself. Stop nagging. After dinner, Shirley and I were about to go to the foot massage parlor. As soon as we walked out of the hamburger shop, Shirley immediately covered Zoe's eyes. Sean, with a woman. I looked in the direction she pointed. From a distance, at the entrance of the hotel, there was a young couple cuddling each other. I could recognize them even with my eyes closed. It was Sean and Luna. Suddenly, a bold idea popped into my mind. Luna, who lived across from me, had a little boy with her, but in the past 3 years, I had never seen her husband. And the little boy's eyebrows and eyes were very similar to Sean's. Before, I thought it was my illusion. But now, thinking carefully, I found something suspicious. Godmother, are you playing hide-and-seek with me? Zoe smiled and pulled Shirley's hand. Shirley quickly picked up Zoe and walked into the hamburger shop. I took out my phone and took a picture of the man and woman in front of me. I had a cold expression, as if I were looking at a pair of strangers. He couldn't get money from me, so he went to Luna. His so-called business engagement was to check into a hotel room. It seemed that there were far more things I didn't know than I had imagined. Uncle Victor, could you come here? Zoe is making a fuss and wants to see her grandpa. Please take her back to the old house and let her stay there for a while. Since it was inconvenient to handle some things with my daughter around, I called the butler and asked him to take Zoe to my father first. Sean is such a bastard. I'll call some people over right away. Let's go in and catch them in the act. Seeing that Zoe was already gone, Shirley immediately cursed. If it weren't for you, with the little money he earned, would he have had the chance to stay in the city? I stopped Shirley from making the call and smiled. There's no need to catch them in the act. You're not still thinking of forgiving him, are you? I want him to leave the house with nothing. I told Shirley my suspicion that Luna's son might be Sean's. Help me ask someone to look into it. Get the birth certificates from the hospital, hospitalization procedures, and anything related to Sean. I don't believe they can wipe everything clean. I got it. I'll ask someone to handle it right away. So what are you going to do now? His company is in urgent need of an investment recently, so he still has to fawn on me with a flattering face. I'll go home first and look into the properties under his name to prevent him from secretly transferring them behind my back. Shirley repeatedly agreed and left in a hurry. As soon as I got out of the elevator, I saw a little boy standing at the elevator entrance. The boy's eyebrows and eyes looked like my husband Sean's. Bad woman. I originally wanted to ignore him, but as soon as the little boy saw me, he threw the ball in his hand straight at me. I couldn't dodge in time and was hit on the calf. What are you doing? The people inside the door next door seemed to have heard my voice, and an old woman came out. It was Luna's mother. Who's talking about my dear grandson? Keep an eye on your child. Such an ill-mannered thing. I unhappily patted the dust on my calf and said sarcastically, "What did you say, you wretched woman? What do you mean by ill-mannered thing? My grandson is so cute and obedient. How can you say such mean things? Apologize to me." Luna's mother glared at me angrily and lashed out at me. Your grandson throwing the ball at people was also taught by you. My child has always been very well behaved. How could he possibly throw the ball at you for no reason? It must be something you did to him. No, I'm going to the hospital to have the injury examined. I'll see you. Luna's mother's voice was very loud. The corridor wasn't soundproof, and many neighbors stuck their heads out to watch. I had never encountered such a situation before. I opened my mouth, but couldn't make a sound in my throat. Mom, what are you doing? A man and a woman came out of the elevator. It was Sean and Luna who were being affectionate outside the hotel just now. Luna, look. Someone is bullying us. This wretched woman insists that our Leo threw something at her, but Leo is usually so well behaved. How could he hit someone for no reason? It must be something this wretched woman did and bullied my Leo. Luna's mother wailed as if mourning, and in an instant, everyone's eyes were fixed on me. Mom, it might be a misunderstanding. Miss Jade isn't that kind of person. Presumably, Leo accidentally got the ball dirty on Miss Jade's clothes, which made her so angry. Luna turned around and bent down to me politely. Miss Jade, I'm terribly sorry. It's all our fault. How about you take off your clothes and we'll wash them for you? I turned to look at Sean beside me. Sean immediately stepped forward. Miss Luna, you're too polite. Jade is also at fault. I'll also apologize to you on her behalf and sorry for the trouble. There's no need to wash the clothes. I'll take them to the dry cleaner for her later. I stared dumbfounded at the three people in front of me. Sean was being hypocritical, Luna was looking smug, and the old woman was complacent. What do you mean? Do you really think that just because I didn't say anything, you can put the blame on me? I really couldn't stand the way the three of them were so united, as if I was the one who had interfered in someone else's marriage. Jade, stop making a fuss. Sean took my hand and tried to pull me inside the door. Exactly. Young lady, leave some leeway in life so that we can meet again in the future. Don't be so greedy. This young lady looks so young. I didn't expect her to be so mean-spirited. Yes. She even bullies children. She's so petty. The numerous comments from the neighbors around made me so angry that my head was spinning. I shook off Sean's hand. I didn't care if I went crazy or became unreasonable. I only live this life once. Why should I spoil them? Hey, you old hag. You've said all the nice words, but made me do all the bad things. As for your precious grandson, as soon as I got out of the elevator, he called me a bad woman and threw his dirty ball at me. Just because you're crying so loudly, you think you're in the right? If you have the guts, come downstairs with me to check the surveillance. I cursed at Luna's mother and then turned to Sean and said, look at you, acting like a peacemaker. People might think you're their live-in son-in-law if they don't know. After saying that, I entered the house without another word and shut Sean outside the door. Sean opened the door again and came in. He sat beside me. Jade. Where's Zoe? He spoke in a very low voice as if he was lowering himself to talk to me because of what had happened outside just now. My dad wanted to see her, so she's staying at the old house for a while. That's good. I'm off tomorrow. How about we have a romantic time for just the two of us? Sean gently pulled me into his arms and coaxed me in a low voice. Before, I was easily taken in by his tricks. As long as he showed a little weakness to me, I would unconditionally forgive him. But now I'm Jade who has died once. I quietly broke free from his hand and started peeling the fruit on the table. I've made an appointment with someone tomorrow. I don't have time. What about the day after tomorrow? How about the day after tomorrow? Are you that idle? There are some problems with the company recently. I want to take a break for myself. Sean probably couldn't figure out why his tried-and-true trick didn't work today, so he increased his efforts and rested his head on my shoulder. How much money do you need? 10 million. Here. I handed him a business card. Go to him and say I sent you. He'll invest in you. The company on the business card was the powerful Chiyu Group in the city. Honey, I love you so much. Sean jumped up excitedly and took advantage of my inattention to kiss me on the cheek. I watched his back, wiped the saliva off my cheek with a gloomy face and curled the corners of my mouth maliciously. The Chiyu Group was the company of my childhood sweetheart. Investing and taking shares was the first step for me to bring down Sean. A month later, Sean's company reached its peak because of the investment from the Chiyu Group. Jade, here you are. I flipped through the investigation results Shirley handed me. On the paternity test paper, it clearly stated that Sean was Leo's biological father. Did you find anything else? I put the result on the table expressionlessly and my hand holding the coffee cup started shaking uncontrollably. He bought huge personal accident insurance policies for both you and Zoe. In an instant, my memory flashed back to the fire in my previous life. He lied that there was no one at home not only to save his own son but also had a more vicious idea hidden in his heart. When was this insurance policy bought? Last month, when there was a problem with his company's capital chain. It's absurd. The person who had shared the pillow with me for 10 years not only had an affair but also wanted to murder for money. Thinking of this, a cold sweat broke out on my back. This Sean is really a scoundrel. He's so audacious. If you hadn't been so determined to marry him back then, could he have reached this position in the city? Shirley, please tell Yiming for me that it's time to draw in the net for the big fish. On my way back to the community, Luna suddenly appeared in front of me. Can we have a chat? I stared at her for a long time and then suddenly smiled. Sure. I'm pregnant. As soon as we sat down in the coffee shop beside us, Luna rubbed her belly and said with a rather smug tone, "Congratulations. I know you've been looking into Leo's background recently." "Yes, he's the son of Sean and me." "Oh, best wishes to you. Another son for you." Seeing that my expression was calm, Luna obviously felt unhappy. Sean and I were childhood sweethearts and had no secrets from each other. If I hadn't gone abroad, how could you have had the chance to become his wife? What exactly do you want to say? Do you want to persuade me to divorce him and give you a chance to take my place? Now that Sean's career is thriving, he no longer needs to be afraid of you. I suggest you'd better be sensible and divorce him as soon as possible and find someone else you love. But I'm just not that sensible by nature. I like to take what others like. Even if I don't want it, I still have to have it. I looked at her with a smile and said with a touch of sarcasm, if you're capable, ask Sean to come and tell me in person. I'm afraid he doesn't even know that you came to see me privately. Who said that? He told me that as long as I can give birth to another son, he'll divorce you and marry me. Then good luck to you. Remember to give birth to a son as soon as possible and have 2 Leos to glorify the family. After saying that, I picked up my bag and left the coffee shop. When I got home, I saw Sean lying tiredly on the sofa with things on the coffee table scattered all over the floor. Seeing me come back, he immediately knelt down in front of me. "Jade, please help me again. Lend me another 10 million. Sean, do you really think my family runs a bank? That I can give you as much money as you want. There's a problem with the batch of things we cooperated on with the Chiyu Group. They actually want to withdraw their investment. You know, the company is everything to me. If they withdraw the investment, I'll be completely ruined. It's none of my business. I came back today to talk to you about divorce." I threw the paternity test report and the divorce agreement from my bag onto the table and sat aside with my legs crossed. Why? Luna came to see me. "Leo, you really think there's a throne in your family to inherit? What are you talking about? I don't understand." Sean pretended not to know. "Let me explain. That woman Luna has a dirty mind. She must be trying to frame me and drive a wedge between us. TSK. Sean, you're really heartless. She gave birth to a son for you. How can you say such things? I don't know. I have nothing to do with her. Whether there's a relationship or not, if you don't sign this divorce agreement today, I'll let the Jade family acquire your company. Then you can just wait to declare bankruptcy." I left him the last bit of dignity and left the company to him. After all, after the Chiyu Group withdrew its investment, Sean's company would be just an empty shell, and he would also be burdened with a lot of debts. After signing the divorce agreement, take your luggage and get out of my house. Early the next morning, I was woken up by violent knocking on the door. When I walked out of the bedroom door, I was surprised to find that Sean was still on the sofa. Seeing me come out at this moment, he raised his head and gave me a strange smile. The door was opened, and Sean's parents came in. Jade, what's going on? Why on earth do you want to divorce our Sean? Sean's mother, Gloria, walked in aggressively. Exactly. Our Sean is capable and good-looking. He's more than good enough for you. What else are you not satisfied with? Sean's father, Howard, quickly echoed. He's already had a child with another woman outside. Why can't I divorce him? Oh, you're so petty. Sean just made a mistake that every man makes. It's no big deal. You can't even control your own man. How embarrassing. Gloria looked at me from head to toe with disgust. You're so useless. You couldn't even give birth to a son. Since you're here, help Sean pack his luggage and leave here. I didn't bother to argue with them. After saying that, I turned around and was about to go back to the bedroom. What are you talking about? This is clearly our Sean's house. If anyone should move out, it's you. Don't daydream in broad daylight. I was speechless. This house was the dowry my father gave me when I got married. My name was on the property certificate. I wondered where this old woman got the nerve to ask me to leave. Make it clear. This is my house, ma'am. You were the one who pestered our Sean to marry you back then. Now that you want a divorce, you just want to leave without any consequences. Nice try. This house must be left to us. Otherwise, we won't sign the divorce agreement. I looked at Sean, who had been silent all along, and saw that he had an indifferent look on his face. I finally understood what that smile of his meant just now. I took out my phone and made a call. After hanging up, I smiled at Sean's parents and said, all right, all right. After all, Sean and I have been husband and wife for 10 years. How could I leave him nothing? That's more like it. After hearing that, Gloria nodded with satisfaction, but the look of disgust still didn't disappear. Girls should stay at home and take care of their husbands and children. You're so domineering. After divorcing our Sean, I wonder where you'll find such a good husband. Of course, of course. I checked the time and seeing that it was almost time, I opened the door. What are you doing? 5 or 6 bodyguards in black walked in from outside. Gloria immediately shouted when she saw them, who are they? Since you want me to leave something for Sean, I'll naturally satisfy you. I took the documents from one of the bodyguard's hands. These are the amounts of money that Sean has borrowed from me over the years. He wrote IOUs for them all. Sean had a strong sense of self-esteem. Every time he borrowed money from me, he would pretend to write an IOU to show his pride in front of me. But he probably didn't expect that I still kept these things. The total is 50 million. You'd better find someone to raise the money quickly, or I'll have to ask the legal department of my father's company to sue him to death in a few days. Jade, you kept saying that you loved me and were willing to do anything for me, but secretly you hid these IOUs. How cruel you are. Sean saw this and rushed forward to snatch the things from my hands. The bodyguards beside me were quick-eyed and immediately pushed him away. When I loved you, I naturally didn't care about anything. But you checked into a hotel with Luna behind my back, and you even bought the house across from ours just so that your 3-year-old son could see you every day. Do you deserve me? I sneered. By the way, the money you used to buy Luna's house was our joint property as husband and wife. I'll also file a claim with the court to get it back. Sean, she just mentioned a son. What son? Now it was Gloria's turn to look confused, surprised. You actually have a grandson named Leo. He lives right across the hall. Go and recognize him quickly. Enjoy being a grandma. I was too lazy to say more. If you don't take your things away by 10 o'clock tonight, I'll ask someone to throw them away directly. After saying that, I turned around and left home. After leaving home, I sat in a coffee shop outside for a whole day. When I came to my senses, I thought that I hadn't seen Zoe for a long time, so I called the old house. Dad, is Zoe with you? Just now Sean said that you asked him to pick Zoe up and take her home, so I let him take her away. What? I suddenly stood up and a bad premonition came to my mind that in my previous life, he could burn my daughter and me to death in the room for the huge insurance money. In this life, with his company bankrupt and burdened with huge debts, I couldn't imagine what he would do. I quickly called Sean. "Where's Zoe? Now you know to call me." He chuckled softly, obviously satisfied with my flustered attitude now. "Jade, you used money to approach me back then, and now you've used money to ruin me. Look at me now, begging you like a dog. Are you satisfied? Did I force you to cheat on me with Luna? What kind of victim are you pretending to be in front of me? Send me your current location immediately, or if anything happens to Zoe, I'll make sure you regret it for the rest of your life. Do you know? It's because you always talk to me in such a superior tone, as if I could only be a dog at your feet in this life. At 8 o'clock tonight, at the East City Steel Factory. Come alone, or you know the consequences." He hung up the phone after saying that. I calmed down a bit and immediately called Shirley. The East City Steel Factory was a long-abandoned wasteland in the city. At 8 o'clock in the evening, it was pitch dark beside the steel factory, without a single light. "Where's Zoe?" I came to him as agreed. He was in rags. In just a few hours, his once bright eyes in the morning had become dull. "Jade, give me one more chance. Let's start over. I'll definitely treat you well. I'll break off with Luna and never let her ruin our lives." The moment he saw me, he hugged me tightly. I struggled hard, but due to the great difference in strength, I couldn't move at all. "Sean, I didn't realize you were so shameless before. Let me go. If you still insist on divorcing me today, then our whole family will die here together." After saying that, he suddenly let me go and dragged out a barrel of gasoline from the dark and poured it towards me. "Are you crazy?" My whole body smelled of gasoline. I kicked Sean in front of me hard. "Where's Zoe?" "Ha ha 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 ha." Sean laughed loudly. He crazily poured the gasoline in his hand onto himself. "Sean." Suddenly, a voice made Sean in front of me calm down. Looking at the person who came, he froze for a moment. "Mom." Gloria was accompanied by Leo, Luna's son. "Sean, calm down. Your son, still needs you." Leo's daddy made me feel sick in my heart. "Where's Zoe?" I waved my hand and the bodyguards in the dark immediately appeared and blocked Gloria and Leo behind them. "In the warehouse at the back." Sean's eyes were unfocused and he said in a low voice. I quickly rushed into the warehouse. From a distance, I saw a little girl in a princess dress tied to a pillar. I untied the rope for her and hugged her tightly. "Zoe, I'm sorry. Mom is late." "Whoa, Mom." Zoe's voice was hoarse. Obviously she had been crying and screaming in fear for a long time and then passed out from exhaustion later. "It's okay. It's okay. Mom is here." I hugged her and walked out. After putting Zoe in the car, I looked at Sean. "Tomorrow, if I don't receive the signed divorce agreement from you, just wait for the court summons." "Jade, I'm on Yunpan Mountain. Let's meet for the last time." Early in the morning I received another call from Sean. "I've already signed the divorce agreement. As long as you come, I'll give it to you." I got up and left. Yunpan Mountain was a bit far from the urban area. It was a weekday today and the driver had been sent to take Zoe to school, so I had to drive by myself. Yunpan Mountain had a high terrain and the slopes were long and steep. Since I hadn't driven for a long time, I drove especially slowly. "Are you coming?" "I'm on the east side of Yunpan Mountain Road. I'll be there in half an hour." "You'd better keep your word and sign the divorce agreement." "Jade, goodbye." Sean laughed wantonly on the phone. I vaguely felt that something was wrong. Suddenly the brakes that I had been pressing tightly became loose. Because the slope was long, the car's acceleration increased in time without the brakes. I panicked. The brakes had been tampered with. As the scenery outside the car window was moving faster and faster, the steering wheel in my hand gradually got out of control. I'm on the east side of Yunpan Mountain Road. My brakes are out of control. I'm now driving towards the East Lake. Someone cut my brake line. At the last moment, my call to the police was connected. After saying that, I closed my eyes and the car plunged into the East Lake. The lake water was extremely cold in December. I suddenly laughed at myself. In my previous life, I was burned to death. In this life, I was drowned. Fortunately, Zoe was okay. When I woke up again, there was a pungent smell of medicine around me. I wanted to turn my head but found that I couldn't turn my neck at all. Jade, you're finally awake. My mother's voice came into my ears and the people in the ward all gathered around me. Are you stupid? You went to see that bastard Sean alone. That night he wanted to die with you, and you didn't even tell me. Shirley couldn't help crying and she looked at me reproachfully. I'm still alive. Fortunately, you called the police in time. The doctors around came quickly and fished you out of the lake. Fortunately, you weren't stupid enough to crash into the rocks. Otherwise, Mom really wouldn't be able to see you again. Where's Sean? He was taken away by the police and was sentenced to 7 years in prison for attempted murder. Finally, I felt relieved. Looking at my leg and foot that were in a sling and the plaster on my neck, I couldn't help smiling with a bit of relief. How can you still laugh? You're so injured. I don't know if there will be scars. A narrow escape from death always brings good fortune. I smiled and said. Everything was over. A year later, I was discharged from the hospital. I took a deep breath of the fresh air outside and finally knew what a little happiness was like. Mom, Zoe was brought here from school by Shirley. I took her hand. Today, your godmother will treat you to a big meal. To celebrate your mom's recovery. Yeah. Long live godmother. I saw Luna, whom I hadn't seen for a year, in the restaurant where we were eating. She was playing the piano in the middle of the restaurant at the moment. When she saw me, she silently lowered her head. When I went to the toilet, she followed me. I'm sorry, she bowed to me with tears welling up in her eyes. It's none of your business. Even without you, there would be another girl. I glanced at her and said in an emotionless tone. It's nothing. Just pretend you don't know me when you see me in the future. After saying that, I wiped my hands and left the toilet. What did she want from you? What could it be? It's not important. Anyway, it has nothing to do with me now. Seeing your open-minded expression now, I'm really relieved. Pack up your things and come live with me in the future. Shirley was a well-known advocate of not getting married in our circle, and because of what I had gone through, she became even more convinced of her idea of not getting married. Support me? Support you. She and I looked at each other and smiled. Then I lowered my head and the tears couldn't help falling down. Fortunately, in this life, I didn't lose everything. The end. My younger female cousin found me mysteriously before the college entrance examination. She wanted 7 strands of my hair and my underclothes, saying that they were needed for a mysterious ritual to pray for good luck in my college entrance examination. However, I secretly discovered last month that my dear younger female cousin was trying to swap my fate. I gave her the hair and clothes of a mental patient instead. I'm really looking forward to seeing her fly into the primeval forest like the monkeys on Mount Amay, crawling in a dark and twisted way. My younger female cousin is like the real and fake daughters in those rebirth novels, with a tragic background of being abandoned by her biological parents. Then she met the soft-hearted goddess, my mother. Without hesitation, my mother scolded her younger brother and sister-in-law, who were both having affairs, and brought my younger female cousin, who was only 3 years younger than me and was in the 1st grade of junior high school at that time, back home. On the 7th day after my younger female cousin came to our home, she hugged my mother on the sofa and coquettishly said to her in her overly sweet, affected voice, "Auntie, can you be my mother? You're so kind to me." Although my mother liked this affected style, she still refused with a pleasant smile, "No, your aunt will always be your aunt." The two of them were being all affectionate and sentimental there, and I rolled my eyes and went back to my room to study. My parents are very busy with their business and have to go on business trips from time to time. I had to stay alone under the same roof with this younger female cousin, but she always liked to give me dirty looks for no reason. I have a habit of going to the library to study by myself on weekends. One reason is to ensure my learning efficiency, and the other is to avoid direct conflicts with my younger female cousin. But when she locked me out of the door for the first time, I lost my temper. Goodness. Could it be that you're really the vengeful female lead in those rebirth novels? Then I complained to my mother about my younger female cousin's behavior. And my younger female cousin, on the grounds that she didn't feel safe at home and didn't hear me knocking on the door when she was in the room, perfectly created the image of a weak and frightened little girl. My mother didn't realize her vicious true face. Yo-Yo is still young. Don't always overinterpret things. Do you think I would be fooled? I've developed a heart as hard as steel under the torture of my younger female cousin. But what I didn't expect was that every time I came home, she would look at me with her innocent eyes and say the most unpleasant words in a sweet tone. Sister, can you not come home? I don't want to be with you. I was almost defeated by her shamelessness. This is my home. Are you kidding? If you don't want to be with me, go back to your own home. This younger female cousin is even more delicate than Lin Dayu. If you raise your voice a little bit, she would be so aggrieved that crystal-clear teardrops would slowly roll down her cheeks, making people feel pity for her. She was really driving me crazy. In the next second, she dialed my mother's number. Her choked and restrained voice made it seem like I had done something extremely evil. Auntie, sister doesn't welcome me. I've always regarded you all as my family. But woo-woo, she wants to drive me away. You know, I don't have a home anymore. I was really at my wit's end. As soon as my mother heard this, she felt so distressed. First, she gave me a severe lecture, and then promised to bring gifts for my younger female cousin when she got home. She was cheering and jumping with joy beside me, while I kept rolling my eyes. Are you happy? Don't forget that you haven't done your homework today. She immediately looked as dejected as a frostbitten eggplant and reluctantly took out her pen and paper and went into the room. I came to the living room, turned on the 360-degree surround sound, picked up the microphone and sang a song loudly. I heard an angry scream coming from my younger female cousin's room. Can you keep it down? I'm doing my homework. After hearing that, I turned the volume up 2 notches and ignored her furious roar. Half an hour later, she finally couldn't bear it anymore and rushed out and turned off the TV. Are you crazy? I held up my mobile phone, which was on a call with my mother, just in time to record this sentence. Mom, I didn't mean it. I have a lot of pressure from studying and sometimes I need to let it out. Why didn't she tell me nicely? She just cursed at me as soon as she came up. My tone was aggrieved and gentle. I'm sorry, younger female cousin. Sister didn't mean it. But how could you be so rude? Her expression became strange, as if she had eaten wasabi and wanted to scold me but didn't know where to start. Hee, it's so easy to handle you. These days, it was rare for my mother to be coming home. My younger female cousin was as excited as if she had been injected with chicken blood. The little princess, who usually didn't want to say a word to me and always left everything for me to handle, actually took the initiative to offer to do housework. Great. Finally, I could be a bit more comfortable. Seeing her busily cleaning the living room and rooms and making the kitchen shiny, I looked at my younger female cousin, who was being so obedient for once, with satisfaction and nodded kindly. You're quite good today. I won't argue with you. I slumped on the sofa like Guyu, casually cracking melon seeds, feeling as carefree as a god. By the way, help me clean up the melon seed shells too. There must be something fishy going on. I finally figured out what she was planning. While she was working hard, my mother came back. So the scene that my mother saw was, her own daughter was delicately cracking melon seeds, bossing around and ordering her younger female cousin to do this and that. And her dutiful niece was not only cleaning the house hard but also had to endure my cold stares. I saw my younger female cousin widen her innocent eyes again and pretended to be surprised when she saw my mother coming home. What she blurted out was an affected voice that seemed to have gone through 18 twists and turns. Mom, you're back. I couldn't help feeling contemptuous in my heart. You little green tea, what are you pretending for? Isn't this exactly what you planned? I saw my mother smile politely and correct her, call me auntie. My younger female cousin pursed her lips, threw away the rag in her hand, and was just about to give my mother a loving hug. My mother's expression immediately became ferocious. She looked at my younger female cousin's hands, which were as black as coal, in horror, and her graceful figure twisted like a centipede as she narrowly avoided my younger female cousin's physical attack. I couldn't help laughing. She patted my younger female cousin's head and said, "Go wash your hands first, Yo-Yo. I'll have a chat with your sister first." I was dragged up by my mother, and before leaving, I took a glance at my younger female cousin. She stared at me with a smug look at the corners of her mouth. Of course, I couldn't let her show off. "Dear sister, there's a vegetable leaf on your teeth." My younger female cousin suddenly looked terrified and rushed into the bathroom. My mother looked at me helplessly. "Yeah, she's younger than you. You should be more tolerant and don't haggle with her." "Mom, she's just 3 years younger than me, she lacks love." What kind of schemes could a child have? Besides, she took the initiative to do housework. You just sat there like a master and didn't even know to help. I was so angry that I was fuming. I slowly thought about how difficult these days had been for me. Of course, my mother still believed me. If there's anything, your mother will always be on your side. But after all, she's your uncle's child. It's not easy for me to say much. When your uncle and aunt sort out their issues, we'll send her back. Moreover, she's had a hard time too. You should be nice to her. I admit that I'm easy to coax. Reluctantly, I promised that as long as she didn't cause trouble, I wouldn't stir up trouble either. Seeing that I wasn't scolded, I put my arm around my mother's shoulder and walked out of the room amicably. My younger female cousin was really upset. Mom bought her a necklace and bought me a bracelet. Both were from Van Cleef Arpels. She was so touched that her tears streamed down like a waterfall. She kept thanking my mother. "Auntie, you're so kind." I've never worn such an expensive necklace before. Compared to her, my reaction seemed a bit bland. I really couldn't squeeze out any tears. I blew my mother a loving kiss, thinking that I had lived such a happy life since childhood and had countless pieces of jewelry. It was inevitable that my younger female cousin would feel a bit psychologically unbalanced. At night, she sneaked into my room. When she saw all the cosmetics, jewelry, and bags in my room, the envy in her eyes could no longer be hidden. When she found that she had received 2 necklaces while I had 4 bracelets, she lost her composure. "Why is there such a big difference in the price of our gifts?" I had a blank expression. "Because I'm the biological daughter, and you're just an extra. There's a difference between the legitimate and the illegitimate." She completely lost her composure. I always had the feeling that she regarded this as her own home and considered herself the master. That's why she couldn't accept the different treatment when she discovered it. My mother was quite nice to her. As long as her requests weren't too outrageous, she would basically satisfy them. In just this 1 year, she got her a new mobile phone, bought her a new tablet, and various luxury skin care products. She was included in all kinds of eating, drinking, and having fun. Although it's basically impossible to treat everyone exactly the same in terms of food, clothing, and daily necessities, compared to her previous life, she was living a much happier life that was like a leap in class. People have 2 hearts. One is greed, and the other is unwillingness. She still liked to play some petty tricks. She accidentally broke 2 of my Christian Louboutin lipsticks and carelessly dropped and broke the birthday present my best friend gave me. Even more outrageous was that I caught her mistakenly using the towel I just washed to wipe the floor. After the incident, she blinked her innocent eyes. "I accidentally mixed it up with the rags. I didn't mean it, sister." If I scolded her again, it would seem like I was being unreasonable and not understanding enough. So I took advantage of her unpreparedness and scrubbed the toilet vigorously with her toothbrush. This was no trouble for me at all. But what was a bit annoying was that she always imitated my outfits and styles. The aunt next door sincerely exclaimed, "You 2 really look like sisters. You're looking more and more alike." I couldn't help shouting angrily, "Are you trying so hard to be a low-quality version of me? Do you know that the cloned sheep dolly only lived for 6 years? She pursed her lips aggrievedly. "Sister, why do you say that? I just wore them because I thought they looked nice." I felt like I was punching cotton. It was so powerless. Even the marketing accounts aren't as good at copying and pasting as you are. On the day when my uncle came to pick her up for the first time, I wanted to set off firecrackers to celebrate this grand departure properly. She coquettishly said to my mother, "Auntie, can't I really stay? I really don't want to go back to that home." The soft-hearted goddess touched her head. "That's your father. If you miss me, you can come and play when you're free." She reluctantly walked downstairs. There was a hint of coldness, a touch of ridicule, and a lot of nonchalance in my eyes. Oh my, you're leaving now. It's okay. I'll enjoy that happiness on your behalf. I deliberately emphasized the word happiness. My younger female cousin seemed to be on the verge of losing her temper again. I seized the opportunity and pressed on with my advantage. "Sister will share the happy life with you more often when I'm free." She glared at me resentfully. One day, I'll have all those things that belong to you. I thought it was just her self-motivation and casually pursed my lips without caring. "How shameless you are. Your face is big enough to hold thousands of mountains and rivers." The half year without her was really twice as happy. I no longer had to experience the exciting life full of intrigues. Unfortunately, during the year when she was here, she never showed her true colors in front of my mother. All her mistakes could be attributed to carelessness or naughtiness. This was like a war exclusive to the two of us. However, a woman's sixth sense is always very strong. Even so, my mother could sense something strange, but she never liked to suspect others with malicious intentions. I made it safely to the third year of senior high school. Without my younger female cousin's interference, my grades were always steadily at the top, and I took the lead in the citywide joint examinations many times, and my goal was to strive for the title of the top scorer in the provincial college entrance examination. My parents were quite confident about my grades and promised that if I became the provincial champion, they would give me the sports car that I had my eye on as a gift for my further education. I just wanted to laugh out loud. My future was bound to be bright. However, that annoying troublemaker disrupted my wonderful life again. My uncle was going on a business trip, and while I was preparing for the college entrance examination, she also needed to prepare for the senior high school entrance examination. He was worried about leaving my younger female cousin at home alone, so he entrusted her to my mother again. I always felt that my younger female cousin was a bit different. When she saw me, instead of giving me a dirty look, she smiled at me friendly. She sweetly called me sister. I have to say that I have a rather striking appearance, while she looks as innocent as a first love. If it weren't for the way she had tormented me before, I might have been deceived by her appearance too. Until 2 months before the college entrance examination, we got along normally. She didn't play any tricks anymore, and naturally, I wouldn't go out of my way to annoy her either, but I always felt it was very strange. It seemed that she was trying hard to get closer to me and curry favor with me. This was completely different from what she used to be like. My younger female cousin had an exquisite notebook. Every time I saw it, she would be very secretive about it. "Oh, it's my diary." Everyone has their own privacy, so I didn't doubt it too much. But I was still on full alert. The upcoming college entrance examination was extremely important to me, and I wouldn't allow anyone to affect my performance. The last provincial quality inspection was the most important exam for me before the college entrance examination. With thorough preparation, I did get the first place, but I still didn't dare to slack off. The second place was only 2 points behind me. My younger female cousin excitedly pulled me. "Sister, you're so amazing. You're sure to be the provincial champion in the college entrance examination." She had never been able to bear seeing me do well. Why was she so abnormal? All of this was explained when I got up in the middle of the night and passed by my younger female cousin's room. As the college entrance examination was approaching, my sleep quality became worse. I often got up in the middle of the night to drink water to moisten my throat. When I passed by her room door, vaguely, it seemed that she was on the phone with someone. I've been keeping a good relationship with her during this period, and she doesn't seem to reject me as much as before. I'll try to find out her 8 characters by hinting around in a couple of days. When I said it was my diary, she believed me. I won't be found out. The last step requires her consent. I can't just take it. I'll say it's for praying for good luck. Ha ha ha, I'll take her place. Alright, since you told me this good idea, how could I forget your kindness? I felt my hair stand on end, but I couldn't alert the enemy. After all, I didn't have any evidence yet. I didn't expect that she really wanted to take my place. How vicious. At that moment, I just wanted to punch the world to pieces. Ha ha ha, it would be amazing if I could stay mentally stable for even a minute. I suppressed the urge to rush up and beat her up. If looks could kill, she would have been chopped into pieces by now. My belief as a materialist was shattered. I felt itchy as if my brain was starting to work overtime. Is there really such evil magic that can replace others? Damn it. I'll secretly read your diary while you're not around. In a fit of anger, I turned over and went back to sleep with a lot of resentment. The next day, I was having a nice rest at home while my younger female cousin had to go to makeup classes. You little thing, it serves you right for being so useless. You deserve to have no holidays. So what if the door was locked? This is my home. Isn't it easy to get a couple more keys made? I sneaked into her room furtively. I didn't know why I felt so guilty. Perhaps it was because someone like me who had received a good education would feel a sense of guilt when doing something sneaky. I carefully rummaged through her desk, fearing that someone would find out that someone had been there. Before finding the notebook, I first found another book which was the real diary. She had recorded her envy and malice towards me in it. Even her feelings when abusing animals were written down. The little cat struggled helplessly in my hands. That desperate cry was the most beautiful music in the world. Step on it, set it on fire? What would be more interesting for the next one? It seems that someone is wondering why there are fewer cats in the school. I should be more careful. I felt a chill run down my spine. What a pervert. If there were a ranking list for evil people, you'd be second to none. I cursed under my breath. Finally, I found the so-called ritual book in the drawer. There were also talisman papers sandwiched in it. It looked quite authentic. I read it through from the beginning and grasped two key points. Point one was my 8 characters of birth time and the other was 7 strands of my hair and my underclothes. Burn them together with my younger female cousin's hair, clothes, and those talisman papers at 12 o'clock midnight in the ghost month, and the real fate exchange would be achieved. She would become me and I would become her. The difference was that after she replaced me, no matter how much I shouted, I would be regarded as a lunatic, and my luck and wisdom would be superimposed on her. Whenever I thought of this, I felt my hands and feet turn cold, my whole body shiver, and a chill run down my back. It was like being in the hell on earth. I just wanted to raise a big knife and send her to her doom. Heartbroken, truly heartbroken. It's not about making a big fuss. Truly disappointed, it's not about crying your eyes out. Whether it was true or not, I didn't dare to take risks. Even if this so-called fate exchange couldn't really happen, I couldn't bet on it and I didn't dare to. After taking pictures, I put everything back to its original state, carefully closed the door, and locked it from the outside. With all these troublesome things happening so close to the college entrance examination, it was really my bad luck to have to deal with her. This kind of mysterious thing was hard for me to explain. And even if I told others, how many people would believe me? I had to make full preparations. She was so sneaky. For example, whose 8 characters of birth time and whose underclothes should I use? The aunt next door who was lame? No, she was living a fairly happy life. Uncle Leo who was paralyzed from the waist down? No, I wasn't sure if it would work with different genders. Then it might as well be Sister Wendy from the nearby mental hospital. Since her child died and her arm was broken, she had always been acting crazy, cursing the unfairness of the world. In fact, I thought she wasn't really crazy. She was just in despair and roaring under oppression. She was just a pitiful person. I found Sister Wendy. She was sitting in a wheelchair, with numb and empty eyes. As soon as I approached her, she started howling. Her fingernails scratched the wall as if she didn't feel any pain, and blood was faintly seeping out. Do you want to start your life anew? She calmed down, but tears couldn't stop flowing from her eyes. How can I start anew? I didn't even have the right to feel aggrieved before I was forcibly sent here. Maybe I'm really mentally ill. Give me your 8 characters of birth time and your underclothes. Maybe there's a chance. She tremblingly wrote down her 8 characters of birth time on a piece of paper and took out the clothes she had changed and washed yesterday. I pulled out 7 strands of her hair. When I was leaving, she smiled self-mockingly. I can't believe I actually believed it. My younger female cousin was more impatient than I thought. She affectionately held my hand and tried to find out my 8 characters of birth time by hinting around. I handed her the piece of paper and pretended to be surprised. What a coincidence. I just went to have my fortune told today. That's nice. Let me take a look. Sister, you're surely destined for wealth and honor. However, she was a bit suspicious because there was a 1-week difference in our birth dates. Oh, this is my real birthday. There's a difference on my ID card, but it just hasn't been corrected. If you don't believe me, you can ask my mom. After I said that, she seemed to be relieved. She looked at it for a while and then gave the paper back to me. I guessed that she must have memorized it. I put these things behind me. The college entrance examination was the most important thing at present. My younger female cousin always urged me to review well. No wonder. After all, if I did well in the exam, her genius student persona would be established in the future. Some people are born bad. When she was a child, she was obviously a low-level green tea. Now she's a wolf in sheep's clothing, taking others by surprise and attacking when they're unprepared. I couldn't imagine what my future would be like if I hadn't accidentally overheard that phone call. When there were only 7 days left before the college entrance examination, my younger female cousin came to me again. Sister, your college entrance examination is coming soon. I want to go to the temple to pray for you. I tried my best to restrain the urge to kill her. I heard it's very effective. But it needs 7 strands of your hair and your underclothes. I smiled. How kind of you. I'll go to my room and get them. I took out 7 strands of Sister Wendy's hair and her clothes and handed them to her. My younger female cousin probably didn't expect it to be so smooth. The greed and surprise in her eyes could hardly be suppressed. I also wanted to see if it could succeed or not. I was really looking forward to seeing her go crazy, flying into the primeval forest like the monkeys on Mount Amay, crawling in a distorted and dark way. After thinking about it, I gave a sinister smile. I've always been fond of smiling by nature. Everything went smoothly after that, and that annoying girl didn't dare to disturb me. When I finished the last subject of the exam, I felt a great sense of relief. Answering the questions was much smoother than I had expected. I felt so tired during these days of sprinting for the exam. It was like raising 6 sons and then having to take care of 12 grandchildren for them. It was also like building the Three Gorges Dam in one night. In the blink of an eye, it was the day to check the exam results. I wasn't surprised to see that my results were blocked. I was surely among the top 50 in the province. I was still a bit nervous inside. After all, I was only 2 points ahead of the second place last time. If there had been any mistakes, my ranking would have been left far behind. Fortunately, I was indeed the real top scorer in the province. My soul seemed to soar like a propeller. I even wanted to kiss the dogs passing by. My dear younger female cousin looked even happier than I was. She said to me with snot and tears running down her face, "Sister, I knew you could do it. That's so great." If she were really the Mary Sue princess in those rebirth novels, her hair should have turned into rainbow colors by now and her excited tears should have turned into diamonds and fallen down. I secretly rolled my eyes. My parents took me to buy the sports car that I had my eye on and brought it home on that very day. The envy and determination showed in my younger female cousin's eyes again. Her mouth was like a leaky ladle. She almost exposed herself as soon as she opened it. "Sister, these will belong to me in the future too." I stared at her expressionlessly while not keeping my mouth shut. I believe that my excellent younger female cousin will surely be able to become the provincial top scorer in the future. It's not just about a sports car. Won't Thompson Riviera be put under your name? Won't the princes in Arabia have to give up their seats for you? Won't all the dogs in the world have to obey your orders? I noticed that the corner of her mouth twitched. Great. I've shocked you. After a while, it was time for the senior high school entrance examination. My dear younger female cousin didn't seem to be nervous or anxious at all. In fact, her foundation was okay. The makeup classes had improved her level, and it was no problem for her to enter a key high school, even if she couldn't get into the top class with me, the sucker studying hard for her. After the fate exchange, my title of provincial top scorer would fall on her. Today was the Ghost Festival. She was eager for action, and I was also looking forward to it. My younger female cousin went out with a bulging backpack, and I secretly followed her behind. There was no way around it. Chinese people are naturally fond of gossip. I saw her burn her clothes and hair together with Sister Wendy's and stick the talisman papers on the incinerator. She was chanting something under her breath. I sighed. Since you were so determined to take away my fate, don't blame me for being unkind. If you're unkind, it's okay if you become a lunatic. Anyway, my mental state isn't stable either. We can be patients on an equal footing, with equally serious conditions. I haven't seen you go crazy yet. I tiptoed away from there, looking forward to the Sister Wendy and Yo-Yo of the next day. After this was done, I suddenly made peace with everything in the world. The world has hurt me with pain, but I respond with fair skin, beautiful looks, long legs, big eyes, long eyelashes, a good figure, and high intelligence. The reason why I'm envied and targeted is that I'm too excellent. As soon as I got up in the morning, I couldn't wait to open my younger female cousin's door. Sure enough, she stared at the mirror in disbelief, looking at her smooth and delicate skin. I knew that it was because the ritual had taken effect. Sister Wendy looked at me in surprise, still unable to adapt to this huge change. What's going on with me? I told her the whole story and told her that she was Yo-Yo now and not to give herself away. She knelt down and wanted to kowtow to me twice. This was the only way she could express her gratitude. I quickly helped her up. You're my younger female cousin now. Don't be so polite to me. But she was still a bit nervous, feeling frightened and uneasy about swapping bodies with others. What about the little girl? She's become me, right? What will happen to her? I threw the diary about abusing cats at her. She deserved it. It's good to lock her up in a mental hospital. There won't be any cats harmed by her in the future. Compared to the vicious Yo-Yo, Sister Wendy deserved to make up for her previous regrets with a beautiful life. Sister Wendy couldn't escape from a family that favored sons over daughters. In her third year of senior high school, she was forced by her parents to drop out of school and get married in order to get the so-called betrothal money to pay for her younger brother's tutoring. The man she married was also a brute. He gambled, drank alcohol, and played mahjong all day long. Whenever he was in a bad mood, he would take it out on Sister Wendy. Her only support was her beloved daughter. Mom, I'll make a lot of money in the future. We'll live in a big house and stay far away from Dad. I'll buy you lots and lots of beautiful dresses. I'll make you the happiest mom in the world. With Mom here, I'm not afraid of anything. However, her beloved daughter, whom she loved as her own life, died unexpectedly at the age of 6. Her husband didn't show any grief over the death of the child. He just angrily beat her with a stick. You're born to be a jinx. You killed the child and also affected my fortune. You're still a hen that can't lay eggs. Do you want our family to have no descendants? To him, Sister Wendy was just an outlet for his anger. It seemed that domestic violence was a manifestation of his masculinity and the only time he felt he had dignity. She roared helplessly, struggled, and finally became lifeless. From that day on, she became the crazy woman in everyone's mouth and was sent to the mental hospital by her husband. It was despair and pain that drowned her. I still remember the day when I went to see her in the mental hospital. Sister Wendy smiled bitterly at me. The so-called warm lights in thousands of households are fueled by women. Start over? How can I start over? So I took away her 8 characters of birth time, her hair, and her clothes. Let's give it a try. Take a gamble and maybe a bicycle can turn into a motorcycle. Some people are striving to live, while others are thinking of taking others' places without any effort. How shameless and selfish. And now, she has completely broken away from her past and got a brand new identity. The results of the senior high school entrance examination came out. Yo-Yo entered a key high school with the quota for targeted students. Our family was in harmony. Mom was surprised at the change in my attitude towards her. I couldn't possibly tell her that the person had changed inside, could I? That would be too scary. Let's not dwell on the past. It's okay as long as we get along amicably now. I pretended to be considerate. Even though my parents felt a bit strange, they were still more gratified. When I went out to go shopping, the chatting voices of the aunties were really loud. Sister Wendy, who was locked up in the mental hospital, seems like a different person. She keeps saying that she's Yo-Yo. How strange, yes, and she keeps asking others who she is. She's really confused. I couldn't help laughing. Hee hee, my younger female cousin must be really surprised that I still plan to go and see her. After all, I hadn't seen her go crazy yet. When I stepped into her ward, she was smashing the mirror in disbelief. She was muttering, "Who is this? How could this happen?" She held her head with both hands, unable to accept the scene in front of her. She raised her head, and our eyes just met. "Sister, what's going on? You've come to take me away, right?" There was helplessness and panic in her eyes. She trembled and hugged me. I tried my best to restrain the urge to shake her off. "Are you really Yo-Yo?" She nodded and her eyes were blurred with tears. I woke up and found myself here, looking like a stranger. "Help me, sister. I'm so scared. I don't want to stay here." If she still had that innocent-looking face like a first love, she might still look pitiful, but now, with Sister Wendy's appearance, with snot and tears on her wrinkled and weather-beaten face, instead of looking charming and pitiful, she just looked extremely ridiculous. Seeing that she was still trying to deceive me even at this point, I had to think about all the sad things in my life to stop myself from laughing out loud. "Come on. Do you really think your sister is a fool?" I threw her diary at her and pointed at her forehead. "How do you explain this? My dear sister? With your clumsy acting skills, you still want to fool me." She choked a little. Faced with the ironclad evidence, she wanted to argue but didn't know what to say. "So you came to laugh at me?" I nodded. "Nonsense. Who doesn't like watching a monkey show? I'm watching a free circus show here." She interrupted me, losing her composure. "When did you know about it?" "I heard you when you were on the phone." I answered honestly. "So you just played along with me?" "How can it be called playing along? Obviously, we had a tacit understanding and jointly completed this great task. Didn't you want to exchange fates? I helped you. Why are you blaming me now?" The sign of her losing her temper was faintly visible in her eyes. "Aren't you a mental patient now? Why aren't you going crazy?" I asked in confusion. As soon as I finished speaking, she suddenly did a kip up and immediately started performing like she was going to tear the roof off. "Who are you? And who am I?" Hee hee hee. I saw her pick up a slipper and put it on her hand, and the sound of clapping echoed loudly. She then grabbed the life-saving rope in the room and tied it to the pillar, and with a leap, hee hee, become a monkey. "I'll swing around." I nodded with satisfaction. "Great. There's another person in this world who's as crazy as I am in terms of mental state." I felt that she was trying her best to restrain herself, but when she went crazy, she didn't care about anyone. This crazy episode ended with her struggling. "Is your life so exciting every day?" I sneered sarcastically. Yo-Yo stared at me viciously. "If it weren't for you, how would I have ended up like this? Look, people who do wrong things never look for reasons in themselves. They only blame others. It was you who insisted on plotting against me." I spread my hands and laughed helplessly. "It's your selfishness, your greed, your envy, and your malice that have pushed you to this point." I stared at her in a sorry state. "Actually, I originally wanted to let you off the hook. It would have been enough to expose this matter and drive you out of my home. But I accidentally found out that you abused cats. A person as vicious as you doesn't deserve a good life. What's the next step after abusing cats? Killing people?" My voice became even harsher. Yo-Yo was silent for a while and then suddenly started laughing. "I'll always find a way to change back. She'll come up with an idea. Come on." That mysterious friend of yours has already been arrested by the police for fraud. Your fate exchange was just a fluke. Hearing this, my younger female cousin completely lost her composure. Her long-planned scheme not only failed but also had no possibility of being salvaged at all. She burst into tears, trying to arouse my kindness. Sister, I'm wrong. Sister, please let me out. I won't dare to do it again. I smiled gently at her, and a glimmer of hope appeared in her eyes. There should be some sincerity, right? I remember that you're not good at sports. Well, do a plank for 10 minutes. I'll take you away when you're done. The corners of Yo-Yo's mouth twitched in a 360-degree cycle. She resigned herself to lying down, with her broken hand trembling. No, it's not up to standard. Do it again. Hey, what are you scratching with your hand? Do it again. Come on. Can't you even hold on for such a short time? Before the sun went down, she finally completed the task I assigned. She slumped on the ground and looked at me expectantly. Can you take me away now, sister? I personally extinguished the spark of hope. Nice try. I was just kidding you. Do you think I'll let you go or that I'm Emperor Qin Shi Huang? You can just stay here and atone for the sins against those cats. I turned around and left. She suddenly pounced on me and tightly grabbed my neck. Do you think I'll let you off easily? Let's die together. However, her left arm was broken and limp, and she couldn't exert any strength at all. So I just made a symbolic little struggle, and she was thrown off by me. You can't use any strength, can you? Ha ha ha, you deserved it. Sister Wendy will live a brand new life in your place. Don't worry. The name Yo-Yo will be well known because of you. Then, please continue to live as Sister Wendy. I ignored her breakdown and left the mental hospital. As expected, I won't come here again in the future. After a 2-month holiday, Sister Wendy had completely adapted to the identity of Yo-Yo. The opportunity to study, which she had once dreamed of, was now within easy reach. Only when you've lost something will you cherish it. Cherish, especially. She cherished the kindness and tenderness we showed her, the friendly treatment from her classmates at school, and every minute in class. She gave up almost all her entertainment time and tried her best to make up for the courses she had missed before. Day in and day out, she studied hard by burning the midnight oil. In the second semester of her sophomore year in high school, she finally got rid of the bottom ranking in the class and strived for a ranking in the upper middle level. In her senior year of high school, she studied even harder. I advised her to take more breaks. If you don't have the fate to win without effort, then you have to stand up and run. Hard work will never be let down. I watched her ranking soar to the front. Those who have tasted bitterness will naturally cherish every bit of sweetness and love. Even if regrets can't be let go easily, they will be precipitated by time and made up for. The lifelessness in Sister Wendy's eyes was replaced by vitality, and that bright smile finally bloomed on her face. I still want to say thank you again. Without your help, I would have stayed in that mental hospital until I died. Now you are Yo-Yo. Don't be polite to me. I patted her on the shoulder. I always felt like the system in those system novels, helping the tragic female lead change her fate against the odds. Just thinking about it made me feel refreshed. On the day of Yo-Yo's college entrance examination, I heard the news about Sister Wendy for the last time. They said that Sister Wendy had been trying to escape, refused medical treatment, and even attacked the medical staff. They said that the cats that occasionally took a rest in the mental hospital died. They said that Sister Wendy's younger brother owed debts and squandered all the family's property. They said that Sister Wendy's brood of a husband suddenly remembered her and wanted to take her away. But Sister Wendy struggled frantically and finally drowned in the river with her husband. Alas, how pitiful. This was the sigh I heard from the auntie. Was she pitiful? The pitiful one was the real Sister Wendy, not her. I stayed away from all the troubles related to her and went to pick up Yo-Yo, who had finished the college entrance examination, and take her home. Yo-Yo got admitted to the law department of a well-known 985 university as she wished. We raised our glasses to celebrate, toasting to the past and to the rest of our lives. Why do you still want to study law? Obviously, your science subjects are actually more outstanding. She shook the wine glass in her hand, and firmness could be seen in her seemingly casual words. I want to explore every corner of human knowledge and regain my own achievements in the fields dominated by men. I want to make sure that in the future, no more women will suffer intentional injuries under the guise of family disputes. I want to become stronger and more outstanding in this field, and there will be no so-called justice that only considers men. Those girls named Zhaodi or Pundi can bravely turn to me for help, and they don't have to be forced to become virtuous wives and good mothers. Under fair judgments, they can enjoy the rights that women should have. They won't be belittled or objectified. They won't be bound by worldly concepts or have their lives confined to standards. They won't be appendages of men or their original families anymore, but the masters of their own lives. We can bravely say no, facing cold looks and ridicule, and strive for everything that belongs to us. Yo-Yo and I smiled at each other. Congratulations on starting a brand new life. The end.